the cursed house of Anatolia, out in the middle of nowhere in Anatolia, where the hills are all dry and gray under a sky that's always pissed off. There's this old stone mansion just rotting away on the edge of a tiny village called Kayaköy. It's 2025, and the Akin family, Kamal, Selin, and their 10-year-old kid Ayla, rolled in from the chaos of Izmir looking for a fresh start. Kamal, a hard-working construction engineer, thought this beat-up house with its mossy stone walls and creaky wooden windows was gonna be their cozy new home. Selin, a retired lit teacher who's all about creepy old folktales, saw the place as a gold mine for inspiration. Ayla, with her big curious eyes, was stoked about the huge yard and the dusty rooms full of secrets. But the folks in Kayaköy, they gave the house the side eye, whispering about it like it was haunted. Word around the village was that a family disappeared in that place years ago, and nobody's had the guts to live there since. Just the wind howling through the cracks in the walls, Ayla crashed in her room, which had a window looking out to a dark-ass forest. Clutching her ragdoll, Kemal and Selin, wiped from moving, were flipping through renovation plans in their bedroom. But there was something off in the air, a heavy vibe, like the house was breathing, like the walls were watching their every move. Second night, Ayla woke up in a cold sweat. There was this creepy whisper, all soft and draggy, like someone singing a lullaby from hell. But the words didn't make no sense, like some ancient gibberish. She threw off her blanket and listened hard. The sound was coming from the corner of her room, where the shadows were pooling up under the dim moonlight, looking like they were moving. "Mom?" she whispered, but nothing. She crept to the window, thinking it might be the wind, but it was locked tight. Then, bam, the whisper stopped, and a bone-chilling cold hit the room, like someone was breathing ice down her neck. Ayla dove back into bed, pulling the covers over her head, heart pounding like a drum, trying to hide from whatever the hell that was. Morning came, and Selin walked into the kitchen to find shit all messed up. Family photos on the wall were crooked, like someone had tilted them on purpose. Glasses and plates, all neat the night before, were scattered on the floor, like somebody had a tantrum. "Kamal, what the hell's this?" she asked, her voice shaking. Kamal, nose deep in blueprints, just shrugged. "Moving stress, Selin. Chill." But Selin couldn't shake the bad feeling, sitting heavy in her chest, like someone was staring at her from the shadows. A third night, the whispers came back, louder and creepier. Ayla shot awake, hearing her name. "Ayla, come to the basement." It was in some old Turkish dialect, like the kind her grandma used to tell stories about. Fear wrapped around her like a snake. She bolted to her parents' room, but in the hallway, she heard a laugh. Not human, not animal, but some messed up mix that made her skin crawl. Selin hugged her tight, saying, "It's just a nightmare, sweetie." But right then, another sound came from the hall, like nails scratching on wood. Kamal grabbed a flashlight and checked it out, but found Jack except for 1 second. In the hallway mirror, he saw a shadow, a figure, too tall, too thin, with glowing white eyes that burned into him. He spun around, but it was gone, leaving nothing but a chill that stuck with him. The next week, the house went full-on psycho. Doors slammed shut on their own, even when they were locked. The old chandelier in the living room started swinging like a pendulum, its light throwing shadows that danced like they were alive and watching. Ayla's rag doll, always on her bed, kept showing up on the floor in the morning, its button eyes staring at nothing. One night, Kamal woke up to water dripping from the kitchen ceiling. He went to check, but it wasn't water. It was thick, red, and smelled like blood. His heart nearly stopped, but when he looked again, it was gone, like it never happened. Selin, who was all about old stories, found a beat-up wooden box in the attic, stuffed with letters and scribbled notes in Ottoman Turkish. They were from a woman named Fatma, who lived in the house back in 1880. Her written started normal, talking about her garden, village gossip, but got dark fast. She wrote about shadows that breathe in the dark, and voices coming from under the ground. One note, scribbled like she was scared shitless, said, "They see me. They want to keep me." The last page had one line, "Nobody leaves this house." Selin's blood ran cold, but she didn't tell Kamal, not wanting to freak him out. Ayla started drawing weird shit, black shapes with white eyes and long, claw-like hands that looked like they were trying to crawl off the paper. When Selin asked, "What's this, Ayla?" she just shrugged and said, "They told me to draw 'em." Kamal figured Ayla was just stress from the move, but one night in the bathroom mirror, he saw something behind him. A face with no eyes, just a mouth screaming silently. He turned, but nothing was there. He didn't sleep a wink after that. Ayla changed. Her bright, cheeky eyes went dull, like something had sucked the life out of her. She'd stare at the walls for hours, lips moving like she was talking to someone in the shadows. One night, Selin found her in the kitchen, standing in the dark, holding a knife. Not like a kid, but like something else was pulling her strings. "Ayla, what the hell you doing?" Selin yelled, her voice breaking. Ayla tilted her head, smiling a creepy, cold smile, and said, "They like you, Mom. They want you to stay forever." That smile wasn't hers. It was like a stranger wearing her face. Kamal and Selin didn't sleep that night. Kamal kept saying, "She's just sick. Something's messing with her head." But Selin knew it was worse. Morning came, and they found Ayla on her bed, body stiff and cold, like she was possessed in her sleep. When they tried to wake her, her eyes snapped open, black, no whites, like two endless pits. In a deep, unnatural voice, she said, "This house is ours. You're the intruders." Selin screamed, and Kamal, hands shaking, grabbed Ayla, but her skin was ice cold, like a corpse. They rushed her to a hospital that day. Docs ran every test, brain scans, blood work, psych evals, but found nothing. One local doctor, who'd heard the village stories, muttered, This is the work of jinn. Camel flipped out, calling it bullshit. But when they got back home, the house was waiting for him. Windows cracked for no reason. Walls shook, and a muffled scream came from the basement. Ayla, looking calm now, sat on the couch, smiling that creepy-ass smile that wasn't hers. Kemal was desperate. He tracked down Hassan, an old dude who knew every dirty secret about Kayaköy. Hassan's face, all wrinkles and haunted eyes, went pale when he heard the story. "That house is built on cursed ground," he said. "Centuries ago, it was a ritual site. Blood was spilled to appease things from the other side. When they built the mansion, those things got trapped, but they're still alive. They hate outsiders." He told them to get the hell out. But when Kemal looked outside, a thick, unnatural fog had swallowed the roads, like the house wasn't letting him go. That night, shit hit the fan. Ayla was found in the basement, standing in a circle of black candles nobody lit. Her body was shaken, muttering words that sounded like they came from a grave. Kemal tried to grab her, but something invisible slammed him back, bashing his head against the wall, blood dripping on the stone floor. Selin screamed, holding Ayla, but her skin was cold as death. Shadows on the walls came alive, tall, twisted shapes with no eyes, just gaping mouths, crawling out like they were trying to break free. The air stank of sulfur and rot, making it hard to breathe. Selin remembered Fatma's notes. One page talked about a ritual to break the bond, needing salt, iron, and blood. Hands shaken, she grabbed a bag of salt from the kitchen. Kemal found a rusty iron rod in the shed. They drew a circle around Ayla, while screams echoed from the walls. Ayla collapsed, twitching like she was possessed. And a voice, not hers, but 100 voices at once, screamed, "You can't kick us out! This house is ours!" The shadows lunged, their claw-like hands reaching. For Selin and Kemal, like they wanted to drag him into the dark. Kemal, out of options, went to town and brought back Mullah Yusuf, a holy man with eyes that could see through your soul. Yusuf didn't hesitate, walking into the house with a small Quran and prayer beads. As soon as he started reciting verses, the house lost its damn mind. Walls shook, windows shattered, and a roar came from the basement, like something massive was waking up. Ayla thrashed on the floor, her black eyes glaring, screaming, "We're staying here." Yusuf didn't flinch, chanting, louder and sprinkling salt around Ayla. Kemal gripped the iron rod, swinging at the shadows when they got close. They screeched like they felt pain, backing off with every hit. Selin, tears streaming down her face, held Ayla's hand and prayed under her breath. The candles flared up, like hellfire was burning in them. The shadows took shape. Creatures with skinny, twisted bodies, fingers like dead branches, and mouths that never closed. The stench of sulfur and death was so thick, it choked them. Yusuf yelled, "In the name of God, get lost!" and read the final verse with every ounce of strength. a sound like a mountain kraken shook the house. The candles went out, and Ayla dropped, still as a corpse. Selin rushed to her, heart racing, but Ayla's chest was moving, weak but alive. Yusuf, gasping for air, said, "This house is cursed. It ain't safe no more. You gotta leave, or they'll come back." The Akins bailed that night, piling into their car and driving through the fading fog to a village near Konya. Ayla got better, bit by bit, but nightmares of black shadows and whispers kept waking her up screaming. Selin stopped writing folktales, burned Fatma's notes, and swore she'd never go back to Kayaköy. Kemal, who used to laugh at ghost stories, now kept salt and an iron rod in his car, just in case those shadows followed him. The mansion sat empty, windows busted, doors locked. Villagers said they saw weird lights at night and heard noises from the basement, but nobody dared go near it. The Akins built a new life in Konya, but the memory of that house was like a dark stain on their souls. They were tighter now, bonded by what they went through, but also scared, knowing there's shit out there you can't explain. A year later, Selin started writing again. Not some spooky story, but a testament to their grit and love. She dedicated it to Ayla, who was laughing again, though her eyes still held a hint of fear. One night, as they sat together, Ayla asked, "Mom, you think they're still there?" Selin gave a sad smile. "Maybe, kid, but we're tougher than them. We got each other." She hugged Ayla tight, and for the first time in ages, Ayla felt safe.